What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys, what is it? A slew, shout out Doc, a slew of announcements to talk about here. First of all, the entirety of Bags and Bodies One Night Stand has been announced. Bags and Bodies intergender event. We talked about Hitman Holla versus Miss Hustle a little bit. We talked about Suge versus E Hard a little bit, but all 5 battles have been announced, so I'm going to be doing some predictions here. I'm also going to be on 3 Letterman's channel tomorrow. Me, 3, and Lang doing another video fully breaking down that card. I'm sure we're going to talk about a bunch of different announcements there, but it's going to be specifically for that card as well. So I'm doing the predictions here, but if you want like more super in-detail content regarding these announcements for Hitman's card, expect us to do more like podcast style, probably more of an hour long. You know, we talk a little bit long over there. So PSA Reloaded, I know a lot of you are familiar. Expect me on there tomorrow. But we're going to talk about that here, as well as a couple announcements from one specific battler, and that is Swamp. And we're actually going to start with the Swamp announcements before we get into the predictions real quick. And that's because he got 2 big battles announced, one yesterday and one this morning. You know what I'm saying? So Swamp versus John was announced for ABCD, Anybody Can Die Battle League. Not gonna lie, man, absolutely hate that the acronym is ABCD. It is what it is. I think it's a bit ridiculous, and they are facilitating some big battles, right? This is the same league that got Av versus Averb. I know a lot of people missed that. They announced it like only on Twitter. And on the very first, like New Year's, right when it turned the clock over, Av versus Averb got announced, and then it got canceled. Right? Av said it was canceled. They said it was canceled. And then it was back on like 4 days later, and they said that they never said they canceled it, even though my ears very clearly heard you cancel it. It's the reason I got a video out about it. So that's very weird. I don't know what the hell is going on with Av and Verb. But Swamp and John is also announced for that card. I'm a little worried about the league's ability to facilitate such big battles. I mean, this is like major level battle rap we're talking here. That's 4 top tier opponents, and I think Swamp versus John is a great matchup because I think it's especially dangerous for Swamp. And he's taken on, obviously, the Tay-Rocks of the world, New Jersey Twerk, Rum Nitty, Calico in Detroit, right? Verb himself, speaking of matchups. But for whatever reason, I just think that John could be specifically a hard style clash. Very all-around talented. I think he's going to get into the angle bag. Neither of them are like the craziest bar for bar. I think one might argue John's a little bit better, but I'd almost say even in a sense. People might be mad at me for that. But on the writing side, it's neither of their specialties. At times, people pointed it to be kind of part of their weaknesses. But they're absolutely great at other things. I don't know. John's been informed. They're both coming off an Elite 2024. We're going to have to get more info on that card. I believe it's in Atlanta, and it's going to be like in the fall, like more like September, October-ish. So like way far away. We're not going to talk about it too much, but Swamp versus John is definitely a major announcement. And then just this morning, T-Top, who there's cards everywhere, people. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad because I feel like T-Top's no-cut card is the one I haven't been able to give the most like attention to. But when that full card is out, we get the full flyer. It's getting its own prediction video, no doubt about it. But Swamp versus Coffee Brown has been announced, and Coffee's coming off 20 and also an Elite 2024, and we got a lot of busy top tiers. And you know, Av's got 3 to 4 battles already booked. Twerk's got 3 to 4 battles booked already, and by the time this video out, I think he's going to have another huge one announced. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up there. Coffee's already got announced in like 2 or 3 different battles. She's got Prestavia March 1st. She's got Bonnie Godiva coming up. I think maybe this weekend is when she's battling Bonnie. And now she's got Swamp on the no-cut card. And as for Swamp, he's got John, which he just got announced for, now here with Coffee Brown, who's one of the best women in the game. So another extremely tough challenge for them. I think there's some grittiness to this battle that I like. It's another intergender battle because the intergender battles are getting a lot of love too. Jazz versus Hollow, Hitman versus Hustle, all of the one night stand card that we're about to talk about, and now Swamp versus Coffee Brown. If I had to give quick, like just initial thoughts, you know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to go John 2-1 over Swamp. Close battle, though. And maybe when I think over it more, my opinion might change, but I just think John's in form, and he's got the perfect all-around skill set to possibly, I think, break down Swamp. But listen, Swamp has beaten a lot of people of his level, if not better, and you could go like pencil to paper and be like, well, this guy technically is better than all these things than Swamp, like on paper. Like you look at Tay-Rock, technically, like what's one thing Swamp just does better than Tay-Rock? Or what's one thing Swamp does better than like Twerk? Or just one thing on paper he's better than Calico? Technically, these guys check more boxes, but as time goes on, he's just proving to be just as elite of a battle rapper and match them and many times win the battle more times than not. But I just think John, for whatever reason, has a bit more of a harder matchup to go about, maybe a little bit harder to write for on the side of Swamp. I don't know, so I think it's going to be really good, but I'm going John 2-1 for now. And as for Coffee versus Swamp, I believe I will be going Swamp 2-1 in that one, but I feel like I bet against Coffee all the time. So I think both of them will be up in the air, because it's really three battlers that have not been doing a lot of losing, you know what I'm saying, in the last couple of years. But both of them very good matchups, both adding to their cards tremendously. And with that said, I want to move over and we are going to do predictions for Bags and Bodies One Night Stand. So starting off, we're going to talk about Hitman Holla versus Miss Hustle again, right? And I'm still sticking with my prediction from the last video when I talked about it. I do have Hitman 2-1 over Miss Hustle, but I think there's a very good chance that this ends up being the battle of the night. There's no reason that it shouldn't. Hustle, this is her endgame. We throw the term endgame out there a lot, right? But this is truly the battle that Hustle has wanted her entire career and almost built up to in a sense. She is, many people have said, the female Hitman Holla, right? She is a over-the-top performer to the point that when we talk best performers in battle rap history, she is maybe the only female that could genuinely have an argument in the top 5 best performers. I mean, I don't know if I'd have her up there, but there's people that could argue up there and you can't be mad at it. Like, that is her strong suit. And of course, we're talking about Hitman, who many, is the pioneer performing, and in my opinion, pretty clearly the best performer in battle rap history. So it's a battle of the performance hierarchy. On top of that, she's been actually very loudly chasing it for a minute too. It's not that it just meets up there style-wise. That they had a little bit of a face-off last night, and she's been talking about chasing you for 10 plus years. But if we did a list of people that chase for 10 plus years and then get the battle, more times than not, the one who is being chased goes on to win that battle. And I think that there's just plenty of reasons, like X's and O's wise, why Hitman will win the battle. I think he's a bit of a better pure rapper. Like, I'm not talking about just the punching, because I think she does more as a puncher. That's more the base of her style, rapid fire punching, the straight wordplay. However, Hitman, in terms of actual rapping and pockets, I think he's a little bit better there. If we talk about angling, I always bring it up. It is one of his best weapons, that since he's such a performer, I don't think he gets recognized as the very near elite angler that he is as well. I think that's a big reason why he won the Ill Will battle, in my opinion. Debatable battle, but I personally had him winning. Debatable battle with Geechee, but I personally had him winning the battle as well, second and third. And even if you look at some of his best performances, like the K-Shine performance, super legendary, because that was for the performance title at the time, and he walked in there underdog, not liked very much in New York, and kind of walked shine, you know what I'm saying, at the time that was a hard thing to do. Rock, he angled a bit there, so Bill Collector was more of a punch performance, but even then he had a little bit of angling. So just goes to show, I think that he's going to use that a lot. I think Hustle is a very angleable battler. There's a lot of different topics that people want to touch, whether it's the writers or just like her general character in battle rap, the grudges. I mean, she's had fist fights in the past, you know what I mean? There's so many different ways to attack her, and I feel like he's going to tap into all of that. I'm sure she'll angle back a bit as well. I mean, we look at like her A-Verb battle, maybe her best performance ever. I think it's very high in that conversation. But I just prefer, if it's going to be a war of topics and being like tailored, I prefer Hitman in that war, and performance overall is going to be the emphasis of that battle. And who better to pick in a battle that's based solely, like, going to be based heavily on performance than the best performer in battle rap history. So I think Hustle's going to be great. I'm not saying she doesn't have a chance to win, but I'm very confident in my Hitman 2-1 pick here. And I've said it's going to be clear, but the more I think about it, I'm picking them 2-1 either way, you know what I'm saying? But if it's a dog fight, I would not be that surprised either. And we'll talk about Suge versus E Hart real quick, because I want to, I have quicker thoughts since I've talked about it already. E Hart is my personal favorite female battle rapper ever. And I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and people are going to be upset either way, but I want to preface it with saying she's my personal favorite. I love her style, the grittiness. I love her pen more than anything. I think that people would argue probably 40 is the best pen amongst the female battle rappers, which I understand, but I prefer E Hart in that sense. And I think a great part of Hart's legacy is that her record against the other top-tier women is phenomenal. However, 2 points I'll make regarding when I talked about it the first time. She's not battled many top-tier men. The one top-tier man that she has battled is K-Shine. Small room, really should have been more catered towards her. You know what I'm saying? That emptier COVID room. Shine walked her. And this is, we're talking Shine in the middle of his run, the best run of his career, right? When he was winning battle after battle, a lot of 30s in there. A lot of people thought he could have or should have won a Cody. He was a heavy contender many years. But that's the only other top-tier male she's battled, right? So it's not fair to base it off of one, but if all we have to look at is that one battle, it's something to say. And on top of that, she's a pen-based battler. She's not been on big stages that many times. The only other time she's been on a stage of this magnitude, where we're talking about 1,000 plus people could be in there, was actually the first event that I ever attended myself. It was 17, and it was Summer Impact, which is quite the first event to be there for, when they battled her and 40 battled the Bardashians. And as we know, not good. He got bodied in that battle. It's just the way it is. More on 40 for choking, but that's didn't look all the way 100% comfortable up there. And now you're battling Shug, who once again is a performance-based battler, coming off of the easy to block captain battle, which is probably going to give him his first million in years, one of his best performances since 2022. And you could debate is up there with anything he had in 2022, which is one of the best years of his career. So there's a very good chance Shug is coming into this battle with momentum and extremely motivated, like he's been in some pockets where he's been at the best pace, best form of his career. I just find it very hard that E-Heart's going to be able to control that crowd and match him in the energy. She is the better writer in the battle. There's no question about it. But the big stage is more than that. It's about entertaining people. We've seen great writers falter, you know what I'm saying, on the big stage. Even when they had good material in that battle, there's just a little bit more. And on top of that, I'm expecting Shug to bring good material. You know what I'm saying? He's worked on his pen a lot in the last few years. So he might not match her straight up as a writer, but this is another one, grudge match situation. I think Shug is going to have the energy he needs. And this is the one I'm most worried about, a clear 30 on the card. This is the one that I think could be on body bag alert. I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to go more in the 2-130 range, because since it is a grudge match, I'm expecting a good version of E-Heart. We're talking Shug. We're talking at a time that he's looking really good and motivated again. And we're talking about a big stage which plays directly into his factor. And unlike Hitman and Hustle, where it's the best of both performers for each gender on each side, E-Heart has question marks there. Even for the legend that she is, she just hasn't gotten a lot of reps in this situation. And that's why I have Shug clearly beating E-Heart on this card. Next up, we have Twerk versus Vixen the Assassin. How can you not like this? High power punching. This is a power punching battle, no questions about it. And I just love all these people locking in that were really good last year. I talked about it with Swamp and John. I talked about it with, Hustle and Hitman to an extent, because obviously the one battle Hitman has last year is one of the best. And then Hustle had another great year in 2024. Talk about Swamp and Coffee, just all these different, even intergender matchups specifically, where people have been informed. I feel the same way about Twerk and Vixen. Twerk started last year a little bit rough, right? Choked in a few battles, but then Big K battle, Pass battle, right? Like, these are powerful performances and little wins scattered throughout there as well. And Vixen, if it was any question if she was back in form, I feel like in 2023, when she had beaten Chilla Jones, was kind of her and Yoshi G, she was moving back in the right direction. But now she's coming off the official battle, probably the female battle of the year. I'm a very big fan of that battle. The 40 battle, clear W versus 40 on black ice. And I had her beating Rum Nitty. It was a good Rum Nitty as well. It's not like it was a bad Rum Nitty. And look at the performance that she gave there. So she's been fighting. I think that after going through the storm of big stage performances versus Jazz and A-Ward that didn't go her way, right? And like dominantly not her way, I think she's finally fully found her form again, and now this is a chance to get some retribution on the big stage. And she's competed with guys like Tay-Rock on the big stage before and had a very good and competitive battle there. I had Rock winning, but I know people that did have Vixen, and it was like a fight. It was the battle that kind of saved that Kings versus Queens card. Now, this is New Jersey Twerk, right? Difficult. And Tay-Rock's difficult. A lot of these opponents are difficult, but very, up there with Hala in terms of just like can just take a room from you. Like, Twerk is 100% there. And then the problem is that what he is a creative puncher. That he's also going to be the better writer coming into this battle. As good as Vixen's been writing, I think it's an extremely uphill battle. And I'm going to sound like a broken record because I keep it real. I am picking the men in almost all of these battles, right? But I think Vixen has one of the best chances of the ladies, right? Like, I think Hustle is a very good chance to beat Hitman, although I'm going with Hitman in that battle. And this is another one where I actually give Vixen a very good chance to beat New Jersey Twerk. And that is partially because I think she's going to be super motivated, back to the wall like she was against Nitty, and have like this crazy performance. And while I think like Twerk's peak and even like 80-90% is above a Vixen peak, the other problem is Twerk is a busy man coming up. Him versus Kid Slade got like rescheduled here for February 22nd. They'll be battling again soon. They were supposed to battle in January. Him versus T-Rex is announced in March, right? He's got another battle coming out here in April that we're going to talk about very soon. And then he's got Vixen. So he's got a lot of like heavy ops coming up and a lot of battles everywhere. So will Vixen get his undivided full attention? Will she get the best performance out of all these battles coming up? I'm not 100% sure, and that's why the door is open for Vixen to definitely make this competitive, if not win, if this gets a little bit in Twerk's head, and he does happen to stumble here and there. Even if he's reserved like 70%, but you're getting like the best Vixen, that's still a good Twerk. But a great Vixen has proven that she could hang and possibly beat a Tay-Rock or a Rum Nitty. So I'm going Twerk 2-1. But I see a very realistic path for Vixen to win this battle. And every time there's a Kings versus Queens-esque card, the men never just like fully sweep. You know what I'm saying? So that door is open, and hopefully she walks through it, because I have this one up there. If it's not Hitman and Hustle, I could see Twerk and Vixen ending up being battle of the night. Next one, in terms of like the major battles on this card, is Av versus Shayna Ashley. Been supposed to have went down. It feels like they've been going back and forth. That's what I like about all these matchups. Twerk and Vixen's been booked before, and kind of that fell through, right? So there's a story there. Av and Shane have been calling each other out. Sugar Knee Heart is a grudge match. They've sent out diss tracks on each other. And Hitman versus Hustle has been built up for like 10 to 15 years. So all of these battles, while I gotta admit I have some intergender battle fatigue, no question about it, they make sense though. Like, they're not just happening to happen or being mismatched. All of these have built up to what they are. And as for Av and Shayna, I'm going Av 2-1. This is another one where I could definitely see the ladies, Shayna in this case, making it competitive. But how can you bet against Av right now? I mean, there's not much to talk about this battle, because I'm not here to disrespect Shayna. She doesn't have as many reps on the big stage, but I could say that for every woman in these battles. They're facing top-tier men who get more opportunities, built more of a career on the big stage, and I think Shayna's delivery is perfect for it. I think she's going to be power. I love Shayna's delivery, maybe the best delivery in female battle rap. Plus, I would actually argue, like, the actual rapping, the flows, she raps a little bit better than Av, but she's going to have to match it on content. Av is a powerhouse up there. This is the same venue as Power Move, so I'm looking at Hitman, Av, and Twerk, who just lit that stage up. It's hard to bet against them in that situation. It's just hard to bet against Av until I see him take a clear L again. You know what I mean? I think Shayna would be competitive. Av's another guy who's busy. He's got a few different battles coming up. But listen, competitive battle from Shayna. I'm not going to say I'll be shocked if she makes it debatable, but we've seen some really good. I mean, look at what he did to A-Ward on this stage. You know what I mean? It's more out of my respect for Av than it is any disrespect for Shayna. It could be in the 2-130 territory. I'll lean 2-1 because I'm expecting, like I said, every intergender card, the ladies fight back at some point here. You know what I mean? Like, it's never a clean sweep. So, you know, and these are on big stages when they happen most of the time, too. So, I am going with a clean sweep for the men at the top tier level. I do have Hitman, I do have Suge, I have Twerk, and I do have Av, but I'm expecting Shayna, Vixen, and Hustle to put up a big fight. And truth is, I am a little bit worried about E-Heart. And then the last battle, real quick, is Gorilla Monsoon versus Eon. A lot of you guys might not be familiar. These are Bags and Bodies talents from Hitman's show, coming from Hitman's house, where he put in all the younger battle, or I'd say younger, but new coming battle rappers to kind of earn their spot. I know a bit about each, but I'm not like overly familiar with their footage, but I know that Eon is like overly animated and over the top powerful. I could see her possibly winning the battle 2-1 just off of looking at some of their more recent footage like that. But, you know, this is an opportunity for either of them to prove themselves, whether, you know, nobody wants to lose clear in this one, but both of them have to do enough to make it a quality battle, and it's probably both in their best interest for it to be a fight, so more of you guys can come accustomed to their footage, and maybe it's someone that I have to get familiar with everything they're doing going forward. But that is my full thoughts here, full predictions for Bags and Bodies One Night Stand, and listen, it's not till April, right? Happen between now and then. I might end up changing an opinion here and there. Someone might take an L before they end up getting that card, and it could make me rethink things, but wanted to get it out now because, as you guys know, I think John said it best in his 3 Letterman interview. It's announcement wars right now, and I'd almost say it's a little bit much from the other, like, it's almost everyone stepping on each other's announcements a little bit, and there's a lot of love to go around. It's creating a great atmosphere in battle rap, but it is making it extremely hard to keep up with everything and show everyone the proper love, which is why since their full card drop first, even though it's early, wanted to get this out now. Plus, as I said earlier in the video, going to be on PSA Reloaded tomorrow. Me, 3, and M Lang going to go more detail into the One Night Stand card, so there'll be a few different videos for you guys to see from me even on different channels breaking down this card, even though it is very early. But these prediction videos let me get to spotlight some of these cards, because in the moment, no announcement is one above all, except Daylight and Rum. I don't know if anybody's going to be touching Daylight and Rum. That's a little bit of a different level. But trying to show as much love as I can, and then, of course, we'll spin back on the prediction videos as we get closer to cards or once they're fully announced, and then I get to give even my more full thoughts and focus on everyone and give their cards the attention they deserve, because it's like everyone wants to put out like a no mess card. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot going on between March and April. But of course, I want to hear what you guys have to say in the comments down below. Please let me know your opinions on this one night stand card, who you have winning. If you kind of feel like me, where it's really easy to take the men in this situation, it just feels like they have some advantageous matchups while they're good. And which women do you think have the best shot to win? If not, if you have them flat out winning going into the battle. Also, I gotta catch I'm probably talking fast as hell in this video. My bad, guys. There's a lot to talk about. Also, let me know your thoughts on the Swamp announcements. How do you feel about Swamp versus John? How do you feel about Swamp versus Coffee? We're very far off from Swamp versus John, so you don't gotta get too detailed there. But how do you feel about Swamp following up a big 2024 with some big names again here in 2025? But it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I'm gonna catch you on the next one, man. Peace.